Hey YouTube, I want to do a quick little video on these two grinders. They are both the same brand. They're both the Porlex. This is the box that this one came in. And I've had this one for several years and I just picked this one up. So I wanted to kind of do a comparison from the older ones to the newer ones. So to start off with, this is the original one. If you don't know how they work, you stick whole bean coffee in here, put this on, you set this dial to the coarseness of the Burr grinder in here, and then you stick this on, and you grind it all up, fills up the bottom, and I've used this one for, probably had this one for at least 5 years now. It was my dedicated grinder every morning for a while, kind of like gave me a little shoulder workout and got my heart rate up first thing in the morning. But I added these rubber bands. They help for a good grip here when you're turning it, so that it doesn't. I mean, there's no resistance now, but when there's coffee in there, especially a lighter roast coffee, it tends to. Sometimes this can just turn your hand if your hands are sweaty at all. So these rubber bands help for that, and I can stick them in there and kind of have it held like that. But over time, this thing has wallered out, and when you're turning it, this thing will sometimes come off and spins around. And one time I dropped it on the ground and it snapped off this outer part of the handle. And I had to glue it back on because it's basically unusable without that. And then with these being made in Japan, I've had a hard time finding one. I've actually, where this thing kind of wallers out a little bit, I've already taken it and put it on like a piece of metal and pounded it with a hammer to kind of flatten those out and make them kind of a tighter fit again. So this thing has, it's taken its toll. And it's been really good to me. But we were on a trip last month to Salt Lake, and there's a little coffee shop called Campos, and I highly recommend it. It's a really nice little place. But I bought some whole bean coffee there, and I didn't have a grinder on me, so kind of on a whim I picked up this mini one. And I thought, it might be nice just to have a smaller version of it. And a few upgrades they've done to this is they actually have a dedicated rubber piece on here with a holder for this, obviously. And they changed the design to kind of a flat style, rather than this 5.1. And I suspect this will handle the torque better over time. I can't say for sure right now because I've used this one for years and I've used this one for about a month, but it already seems like this is a better design. But other than that, it's the same. The coffee in there. And this one, being substantially smaller, it grinds less coffee at a clip, but it's as easy as adding more in and continuing to grind. So I think this one has more advantages than this one. I don't think they even make these style anymore, but I'm quite the fan of this guy. I'm glad I picked him up. And I mean, as you can see there, it's about a third smaller than this one. And it is, I already know that these are tried and true tested grinders. You can find cheap knockoff ones of these on Amazon and other places for 20 bucks. But these are a very high quality grinder. I believe the burrs are ceramic. And I can't remember the exact price I paid for this one. But this one, I can't remember exactly what I paid for, but I want to say it was like maybe 60, 70. But these are, I've had a hard time finding these online, so I was glad to find them at the Campos coffee shop, and to know I was actually getting a legit one. But I'm a big fan of these. If you're in the market for a little grinder that would go to do a really high grade fine grind, I use this mainly with my AeroPress, and it does a really good fine grind for that. But here's some of the stuff on the box. But yeah, if you're looking for one of these, I highly recommend these. These are great little units. Thanks for watching, and share if you want. Thank you.